Hey everybody, John here from the sports department, ready to go over the LCK slate for tonight. Two games on the slate. It's everybody's last game of the season. It's a little bit interesting, but not nearly as good of a slate as some of the ones we've had in the last couple days. I thought last night was kind of interesting slate, and 2 days ago I thought was a really good slate as far as two-game LCK slates go. This one, a little bit back and forth, some motivation, some no motivation, but two kind of fairly chalky favorites, I think. Looking at the first matchup, we've got Afrika at plus 335, 10-7 on the season, up against GenG, minus 550, 13-4 on the season. So GenG, they're slightly motivated. You can see they're at 13-4. They can't catch DRX and Damwon, but they are ahead of T1, and they would like to stay ahead of T1. I think they only need to win one game. If they win one game in this series, they'll go to plus 18, and then they'll go to plus 16, which is not catchable by T1. So as long as they win at least one game in this series, they'll lock up the third place position. That's probably the maximum amount of motivation that they have. They're not super motivated to win the series. They just need to win at least one game. Afrika, on the other hand, is not motivated at all. They're 10-7. They can't drop out of the playoffs, but they also can't catch T1. So no motivation for them here. I wouldn't be surprised to see them kind of mess around a little bit. Statistically, it's pretty straightforward as far as GenG being just one of those teams that's in that top four grouping of the best teams in the league, and Afrika just a stark drop-off. 1867 gold per minute to 1746, a plus 169 gold differential per minute to minus 14. First Blood, First Turret, both in the advantage of GenG, a 22-point advantage in Dragon percentage, and it's about a 1,500 difference at 15 minutes, minus 395 for Afrika and plus 1104 for GenG. Kill per win and death per loss wise, you're looking at an 18.1 kill per win to an 18.1 death per loss, so straight 18.1 there, which is a big number even for like the LPL. This is a pretty big number. Kill per win for Afrika 17.2 to a pretty low 14.6 for GenG. So the GenG side we have to assume is a pretty large favorite, and you're looking at a pretty big number there. I wouldn't be surprised to see them be lesser owned as far as the favorites on this slate go, and some very good numbers there. So GenG may be looking to be a pretty good play. We'll look at the projections in a minute and see if that holds true on projections, but GenG feels like a good play to me just from looking at this. In the other matchup, we get KT at plus 650, 7-10 on the season, up against Damwon Gaming, minus 1600, 15-2 on the season. No motivation for KT. They are just barely going to miss the playoffs. I mean, they're a few games behind, but they are right there in 6th, right behind Afrika. Damwon, on the other hand, they are motivated. They're 15-2. If they win this series, they will lock up first place. If they lose here, DRX gets the ability to pop past them. But as long as they win, they already have a 7-game differential, which DRX cannot come close to equaling. So they just need to win this matchup, and they will lock up first place, making themselves the final end boss of the playoffs, which you got to think is probably about where they belong from this season. Statistically, it's not close. 1991 to 1748. 1991, I believe, is the best gold per minute of any team in the world at the moment of the high-level teams. A plus 386 gold differential per minute to minus 44. They're ahead in First Blood, First Turret, 63 to 46 in Dragon percentage, and that plus 3,059 at 15 minutes number, just insane. Minus 115 for KT. So it's 18 to 16.6 for kill per win to death per loss. Interesting, just because I think Damwon's going to be the more popular of Damwon and GenG, and Damwon actually looking to maybe project lower. We'll have to take a look in a minute, but that's it's looking to me like they should project lower, which would be a good spot to maybe get on for GenG. Try to take advantage of that. Damwon has the easier matchup in theory, so people might lean that way as well. Just go to the Damwon side because the matchup seems a little easier. If I was guessing the ownerships, I would definitely say that it's going to be Damwon, followed by GenG, followed by Afrika, followed by KT at the bottom. I will say, even though we have like a motivated Damwon and a slightly motivated GenG, This does feel like a decent night to play the dogs if you're going to play one of the big GPPs. We are coming up on the end of the season. Damwon, I think in particular, is way more likely to take it seriously, but I could see playing some Afrika. Their ownership should be pretty low. GenG's not hyper motivated; they just need to win one game, and I could definitely see them messing around with some alternative type strategies here in this series. You do have to be worried in these last games of the year about subs. Afrika is definitely a team that could be subbing around. KT especially is definitely a team that could be subbing around. I think Damwon is really probably the only team on the slate where you don't have to worry about subs at all. GenG, you could even see that support sub come back in a series like this. So keep an eye out for lineups and be aware that subs are definitely an option. I don't think we'll see them for Damwon, but anybody else I think it is kind of open to be subbed. Let's have a look at the projections here. Specifically, we'll look at the favorites. I think most people would agree that this is a slate for the favorites. Sorry, the NA slate is starting to come through into the optimizer here. So if we look at just the favorites, I just want to see who's the higher projected of the two. Rascal higher than Nuguri in the top lane. Canyon wins out in the jungle, only a couple points there. Showmaker wins out in the mid lane. It's GenG at 80 carry, and Damwon at support. So Damwon does slightly out project, 3 out of 5 positions. It's a Damwon out projection. But I still think if you're looking for maybe a slight edge on the field, it's a pretty small gap between like Clid and Canyon, and it's a little bit bigger with Showmaker and BDD. Oops, sorry. Only 1 point at the support position between Barrel and Life. So it feels to me like the best way to maybe try to get some leverage would be to go to the heavy GenG side. I think that's probably what I'll end up doing to try to get a little bit of leverage on a slate like this. Probably just try to fade over towards the GenG side and hope that that they can outscore Damwon, since I think they'll be higher scoring. For cash games, looks like you can get a 3-3 with a jungle captain is what it leads towards. Clid with Rascal and Ruler, along with Canyon, Showmaker, and Barrel. If that is doable, then yeah, in theory, we should easily be able to get a 4 GenG with a jungle captain as well. I don't think we'll probably be able to upgrade that any further. We'll check it just to be sure. If we're willing to play 4 GenG, does that do anything for us as far as being able to? No, not even close. So you're definitely looking at jungle captains as kind of the cap for the two favorites. But you can get a 3-3, or you can get a 4-2 on the GenG side. I don't think we'll be able to get. Well, let's play it with the cheaper captain first, just to double check what we can do here before I get out of here. I don't think we would be able to get 4 Damwon. 5,200, not quite enough to get the GenG team. We saved as much money as we could in the top lane, so yep, not possible to get the 4 Damwon. If we're going to go to 4 Damwon, you'd be looking at a top captain. Unfortunately, I think that probably means that GenG ends up being the higher owned team. I think I have to go change my thoughts on that. I think it has to be GenG and Damwon. When you look at how the pricing plays out, people are going to want that jungle captain, and in order to get that jungle captain, they're going to have to play the GenG. So maybe in GPP, if you're trying to get leverage with these two teams, maybe you just switch over to the Damwon side to play a top captain. Something like that could come through on a slate like this, I think. So that's probably your best shots. As far as cash games, I would just listen to the optimizer here. It goes 3 and 3 on Ruler, Rascal, Clid, Canyon, Showmaker, and Barrel. That makes a lot of sense to me. So I think you can just stick with something like that. So that's all for me on this one, guys. I'll be back later today for the three game LPL, LCS, LEC slate that they're cooking up here. So I'll take a look at that one and have that one ready for you guys later today. Until then, have a good one, guys.